Hello everybody, Texas Deacon here. Thank you for joining me. Today's date is May the 8th, 2014. It has been a rainy day in Texas. In fact, one weather reporter, not that many miles from where I live, recorded 7 inches of rain. I haven't put anything up in a while. I have got too many irons in the fire, I know. I have been involved with a couple of new projects. One had to do with young men in church that we are mentoring, trying to get them to understand their place in the church, in the family, and in society. This day and time, we just don't seem to be teaching people that enough, especially the young men. I've become involved with a group of older men, no, let's say mature men. Some of them are more mature than I am. And we're learning from each other. We really are. Men need men. Now, the title of today's lesson is Reducing Pollution. And what made me come up with it was just an article here in the Dallas Morning News. It says, Texas loses ruling on pollution cuts. Now, the reading is from the book of Matthew. Matthew 28, 18 through 20. And this is Jesus speaking. And Jesus came and spoke to them, saying, All authority has been given to me in heaven and on earth. Go therefore and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, teaching them to observe all things that I have commanded you. And lo, I am with you always, even to the end of the age. They call that the Great Commission. It's for everyone. What I'm really going to talk about has to do with pollution. But I'm mainly going to be talking about pollution of cars. Now, when I first started driving about, I was 55, 56 years ago, the engines then were almost all had carburetors. We burned leaded gas, got poor mileage compared to today. Didn't have what we call positive crankcase ventilation. The crankcase had a pipe that dumped everything out under the car, all the gas from inside the crankcase. Then somewhere around 1980, I think it was, we changed the way we build engines, and the term European standard was used. The cars became fuel injected. Carburetor just sort of dumped gas down there, and each cylinder got what it could. But with fuel injected, each cylinder gets the exact amount. You get cleaner burn. Also, too, unleaded gas is gone. We come up with what they call PVC, positive crankcase ventilation, in which we just ran a hose from the crankcase over to the intake, and all those escape gases were ran through and burned a second time, completely burned. Now, we got a lot better mileage out of these new engines than we did the old ones. Plus, we come up with new oils. Fully synthetic oil was a whole lot better, I was told. I don't understand why. But anyway, that actually helped mileage. Catalytic converters on the end of the tailpipe. Again, cleaned up the exhausts. And of course, hybrids and all electric has come along. I read an article one time that said the engine of the day, or the old engines I should say, some of them put out as much as 90 times more pollution than our engine today does. Now, all electric, there are a few all-electric vehicles around, but I don't really think our government wants a lot of all-electric vehicles. They don't want you to have a vehicle you can charge from solar panel or a wind generator at your house. They lose a lot of control over you when you can get away from the gas pump. Now, LPG, we have an excess of liquid petroleum gas. Clean burns. It's safe to burn it in a room full of babies. And they say that technology is not there, is not good enough for us to use it in our cars today. Sorry people, in 1965 I drove a truck for a while that was ran off of butane. And it was a very, very simple hookup. It would boggle the mind how simple it was. In fact, if I ever ran out of butane, all I had to do was open the hood, open one valve, and I'm back on gas again. So simple you wouldn't believe it. Now, today we hear the term global warming. Every time we turn around, global warming. A bunch of people have devoted their life to fighting global warming, making big money at it too. Some of the older ones of us remember a term from bygone years called acid rain. They had us convinced that hundreds of thousands of acres of Canada, especially up there in the northeast, was dead because of our acid rain that was crossing over the border. But what happened? I don't know. Acid rain just became unpopular. Now, I am a tree hugger to a degree. I believe in reducing pollution within reason. I believe in more and better methods. Absolutely. But one of the things we've got to understand is that these people that are fighting pollution, it's their job, and they do not want to give up that cushiony job that they've had. They want to retire at that job, and so they're going to continue to find new ways and new things to try to cut our pollution. They'll come up with things. The article there had to do with power plants in Texas and other states, but Texas, where the lawsuit was filed, that some of our pollution was going over into other states. Well, wind blows things around, but our power plants today, I go by a couple of power plants regularly, and I remember when they used to come out of the smokestack where they burn coal. Well, years ago, I thought they'd closed the plants down because they quit smoking. No, they just cleaned up the exhaust of the coal-fired electric plants like they did the cars. So these people that are fighting global warming, they're going to be with us. And we're going to have to listen to them. We can't do anything about it. But remember this, that I say just come and go. And we're going to have an ice age someday if the world holds together, which I don't think it will. But of all the problems we have in the world today, and all the problems that this country needs to solve, right now, couldn't we just put global warming on the back burner for a while and solve some of the other problems? We could if we wanted to. Or, I should say, if our politicians wanted to. Anyway, just a little food for thought so you can be aware of what's going on. And it's not going to change. Until next time, may God continue to bless and forgive the United States of America. May God continue to bless the Republic of Texas. And may God continue to bless you and yours.